Hey, hey, my friends. Happy Thursday. Oh, it hurts when I have to bend down and pick things up. My name is Tara. Welcome to the Daily Nail. This is my weekday daily nail show. Um, I have to pop off this mani. It's actually, this nail just chipped and this one chipped yesterday. And that's because I'm wearing peel base, so there's like a barrier between the nail and the dip. That kind of makes it easy to just pop off your dip powder when you put peel base on. But say you're going to a wedding or something, you might not want to be using peel base because I can't tell you how many times like we're getting ready to go somewhere and my nails are all done and I'll look down and something will be chipped or a whole nail will be missing, like the whole dip will have popped off. So those are the times you're probably not going to want to use peel base. But for somebody like me who does dip manis every day, it's a godsend. Look how easily these are coming off too, really nice. Okay. Of course, my son is still sleeping. We kept him up late yesterday and he stayed awake until the afternoon and then fell asleep, but only until like 4. So we thought for sure he'd sleep last night, but he was up all night again. So now even he expressed some concern to me this morning about his sleep schedule being all messed up. Like he didn't seem to care before, but maybe now I can get him to be a little more cooperative. If anybody's wondering, he's 12. He's going into 7th grade, and he starts school next Wednesday. So in 6 days. Okay. A little bit of orange under here. Let's see if I can scrape it out. All right, let me pull up the live here. There we go. Pull up the chat. Okay, there we go. All right, I guess these nails will be okay. I'm just looking. They're getting to the point where soon I'm going to need to put some fresh tips on. I would say the thumb, the middle, and the pinky. I kind of just replace them as needed. So sometimes I won't be doing a full set, you know what I mean? I might just replace 1 or 2 nails or something. So once I have my nails popped off, I just like to give them a quick shape. A lot of times dip powder will be stuck at the free edges. You'll have a little bit right on the edge. So I'm just making sure that there's none there and that my shape is how I want it before we begin dipping. And I'm wearing the short stiletto soft gel tips from Luxy Nail. You can get those at luxynail.com. You can save 15% on your order there too with Tara, with code Tara15. But she also has coffins. She's got almonds, and in different lengths too. But they're really nice because they're the gel tips. And she sells this awesome gel tip glue. It's a gel that you put in the well of your jelly tip to attach them, and I have never once lost a nail with those, you guys. Never once. All right, these look good. Okay, so now I'm just going to go in. I'm going to put on a layer of peel base. Let me make sure that's all. Okay. Ooh, let me put the TV on. See what's happening on the TV. Give me a second here. Pull it up. The Fire TV. I like YouTube, so we'll go there. I want to hear about this Brian Koberger. It's live right now, but he had requested a speedy trial, but then yesterday, I think, he waived his right to a speedy trial. So the trial was supposed to begin like on October 3rd, but now it's going to be months or even years before he goes to trial. So that kind of sucks. This is live, so this is Grizzly True Crime. Gazella K. She is live streaming the hearing from August 23rd. Is that today? No, so that would have been yesterday. Yeah. This is the whole thing about, I guess, waiving his right to a speedy trial. All right, so I'm going to get going and put my peel base on. Black Dahlia Lacquer's Yin Yang Scented Peel Base. Stuff's awesome. And it smells good. And she has several different scents of peel base. Check her out, blackdahlialacquer.com. I think her peel bases are $8, maybe $7. Very reasonably priced. And they're just as good as UNT, in my opinion. They work just as good for me. I've bought a few bottles, different scented ones. I originally found her on Amazon, and they only had the unscented one, but I was really impressed. So then I went and checked out the website and saw that there were all these different scents. Plus, she saw some gorgeous nail lacquers, you guys, like shifty ones, things that, you know, you don't really see with polishes. You know, she's very cutting edge, I would say.
He said he wants to discuss something maybe a little more personal, and he said, I'm already getting.
And then, of course, she sells like the polish, the lacquer base coat and top coat and all of that. Okay, so today we're doing, it's at least a Manny twin, but it might be a Manny triplet. For sure, myself and Tara, Mooninked Nails is her Instagram handle. She's an amazing artist. Are going to be twinning, and Brandis Bedazzled Nails might be joining in if she can get her Manny in. So these are August's Revelist Club dips. Let me put those up so you can see. We got a beautiful dark teal. And then this tip here is blue and like a yellow gold glitter. But when you mix those together, you get that teal, you know, so they go really nicely together. Perfect transition into fall, if you ask me. So these are the dips we're going to use. And if you're not sure or haven't heard about Revelist Club, I'll give you a little, it's a subscription club that you join, $99 a month. And once a month, you get 2 coordinating half-ounce dips. And there's a special Revelist Club Facebook group where you can vote on the color palette that you like or whatever for prior months, upcoming months. Revelist Club Facebook group if you're a member of the Revelist Club and you get a subscription from them. So it's once a month, and the other cool thing is if you order anything from Revel Nail throughout the month, you pay. I'll ship it with your Revelist Club order for free. So that's a cool bonus. The $18.99 a month goes towards your Revel Rewards points, which is another bonus, as it should, you know, because you're spending the money there. I think right now the club is full and there's like a waiting list. That was the last I heard. If anybody knows different, please correct me. Hi, Michelle. Oh, thanks. Every year, our city has this thing called Autumn Fest. It's the big thing in our city where like vendors come from all around to sell like their stuff. Like I got a really cool incense wine bottle from there. Lots of like country decorations. But then there's a stage with different bands that play. Then there's a carnival, and then there's also fireworks. So this is the big event, and it's Columbus Day weekend every year. But Nick bought me this shirt from it. I ended up cutting it here because it was kind of tight around the neck. It's kind of wrinkled. It was sitting in the laundry basket unfolded. Love you, Manny. I need to know about the gold chrome. Did you file it off? How did you what was your approach with the gold chrome on your cosmic Manny? It's beautiful.
Quite a while, and then when Coco gets up, he's like, okay then.
What did you think of my turquoise inspired? Could have had more turquoise and less black, but I liked it better than the one I did on the live yesterday. I was so annoyed yesterday on the live that I didn't even post the link in my Instagram post this morning, the link to the live, because I was like being frustrated. So I don't know if you heard, Michelle, but we're going to be using August's Revelist Club dips. They're nice transition to fall, I think, right? We got this dark teal color. Is August 1, that's the solid, and then August 2 is a glitter dip with blue and like yellow gold, which kind of merges into like a teal, you know. You like the teal one a lot? I'm still wearing it. I didn't pop it off because this hand, it was the Luxie Manny. I saw how you commented. You do have that dip. If you ever want to twin me on it, did you get the shimmers that came with it? There was like an orange one and a pink one. Those go really nice with it too. But I would totally use that dip again this year if you ever want to twin with Sunset State of Mind. So I'm twinning with Tara and maybe Brandis if Brandis can get it done. I already have my peel base on, but what we're going to do is the thumb and pinky are going to be solid. The index is going to be glitter. Did you see the design in the Nail Goddesses group? I sent it there. And then the middle and ring it's going to be like a color block. So the blue will be on the far side here and on the far side here. Same on this nail. And then we'll color block we'll ombre this glitter going up the nail, maybe like halfway or a little bit more, so it ends up bare nail. I'm debating whether I'm going to use a nude. I would normally use a bare nail, but these nails that I'm wearing are not new, so I have like some imperfections, a little bit where you can see like orange dip that got under the tip on this nail here. So I think I might go with a nude too. Let me think. What's my closest nude that I probably one of my Revel nudes. I might as well use a Revel nude, right? My other 10 drawer cart is right here. Like I'm touching it, but I have to move to get in front of it. So just give me a second to grab out a nude.
That's pretty cool. Okay. And so,
oh my God, it feels like it's gonna fall over.
Coburger's defense said they still wanted to keep the
I'll use Afterglow
to address their request to dismiss the indictment, and after that reconvene to discuss.
Yeah, we'll use Afterglow. This is a nude I use a lot because it glows. And it's a nice shade of nude. It's like super neutral. It is more brown than pink, but it's light enough that it works with my skin. Oh, okay. Let me read how you did it. Oh, you did? You wrote in the
I
Cosmic
early on
group
Facebook.
exactly how you did the chrome. Was that this morning? Because it was not there for me. Like I was in all those chats this morning. You saw I posted my photos, right?
Anyway, so
So if it was after that, I didn't read it yet. But if it was before that, it wasn't in the chat for me. You did your layers. Okay. Oh, so you did use gel top coat. Partial cure, yeah, for the chrome. Applied it fully cured. Went back with dip base and did one more layer of on the rocks over the top. Oh, okay. But you came out amazing, girl. That was what a good idea to use chrome too, because I hated. Like I ended up liking the turquoise one more. I never should have added that silver striping silver liner, gel liner to it. It made it look less real. You know, I should have just left it as it was. But you live and learn. And even my turquoise ones, like, I think the thumb came out good. I like the pinky. I like the ring. But these two, where I did like the stripes, I should have stuck more to blobs. You know what I mean? And even more turquoise, because that's how a real turquoise stone is. But I tried. I mean, hell, I did 2 manis yesterday, you know. I was so excited. I'm like, I know I can do better than this mani. So I was just like, I wanted to. And even this, I know I can do better, you know. So I want to, you know, when you do something, you want to do your best at it, right? And I loved your post for Cosmic too. You sold it awesome. I think I did good too, but I loved yours.
This case carries enormous weight for the family.
Oh, it was last night you sent it? Yeah, it wasn't there for me. That happens so much. Like, you know, that snake scale chrome thing Brenda sent to Dip Goddesses? There was no comment that said, like, she wanted to learn how to do it. And the only reason I knew it was is because Tara responded to her comment. But that was not there for me. It was just the reel she sent, you know? Drive me nuts. And even if I don't know, maybe if I go back and refresh, they'll be there. Are you doing the color palette challenge? Due Saturday? I'm planning to do that mani tomorrow. And then I have the BBB due Saturday too. Ha! And I have a Nails Truly mani due Saturday as well.
He took the class extremely seriously. Carmela Bear called the Idaho Massacre podcast. So I've listened to that.
But I'm going to do the color palette on the live. Maybe I can bang out the BBB or the Nails Truly later today, you know. And then just do 2 manis tomorrow with my pen.
He took the class very seriously. This lady also said it's all he ever wanted. So when he was kicked off, it was very, very bad.
Oh, I think, not quite. I thought I was. What do you think of these colors, Michelle?
But now, Koberger was forced to leave the program in his junior year following a series of complaints from female classmates.
Hi, Tara.
I wonder what, again, we've heard about the complaints.
Oh, you don't know yet? You've been banging out a lot of manis this week, Michelle. I don't know if you had them pre-done or whatever, but I was really impressed. Like, that's more than I think you normally put out. I think like almost every day this week you put out manis. If not every day. Not like I'm paying attention that closely. That's why I'm not sure if it's every day or not. But, you know, you're my friend. I pay attention.
What had him removed from the program? When I look back on it now,
these dips remind you of a peacock, Tara?
Referring to the bombshell allegations.
Too bad there's no purple in there or pink. More. Oh my god, Timu has this iron peacock lawn ornament. And it's like blue and purple and gold and green. Oh my god, it's so beautiful. Almost as beautiful as those rainbow sequin sneakers I sent. Yeah, they're gorgeous colors. Hey, Tara. So we're doing our index with the glitter, solid on thumb and pinky, and then, you know, because I was thinking the glitter will be here and then just thinly as an ombre up the middle of these 2 nails. Why don't we do thumb index glitter, and then these will have the solid stripes with the glitter ombre, And we could do that one solid? Or is that too much glitter? Should we just stick to the original plan?
Or something along those lines. Stalker's down.
Yeah, you have, Michelle.
My word. Just a few months before the murders, Koberger also allegedly...
Yeah, and you just took on another company. But decal companies are a little easier, you know what I mean? Because you can work, I mean, you can use other company dips and stuff like that. But it's weird that I'm an ambassador for nails, truly, because honestly, I am not big into decals. But I've been having more fun with them now that I'm remembering, like, that I can incorporate them into any mani, you know. It doesn't have to be a nails truly mani.
November 17th, I knew what we were going to be doing. Okay, that's not happening anymore. So
Pinky and all right, let's do that, Tara.
Especially with the cameras,
because I just want to balance out the colors a little more, you know, show off that glitter a little more. All right, let me just. Sorry, but I have my plan here, so now I got to change the pinky to glitter.
If they decide not to, I will understand as well.
All right. Got it written right in front of me.
18 months. Oh my word. That is so cool. You're an OG. Thank you so much. Okay, so thank you so much.
Oh, that's cool. So you can just do whenever.
Replay just to see what I don't miss. Okay.
Whenever you have time.
I'm also going to
that's cool. All right, we are dry. Tara, are you doing? Did you get something to eat, Tara? And are you doing your mani with me?
Well, soon, not like now.
Okay. Anybody here? Michelle, are you on the BBB on Monday or no?
I'll keep you posted on all the other stuff, all the other cases we're following as well. So thank you.
Kendra's on it, so we're gonna twin. We haven't twinned in months.
Here with me on this Thursday. Tomorrow's already Friday, and I shall see you again either later or tomorrow, whenever. So make sure you are subscribed, hit the bell so you don't miss out.
Sorry, I just have some skin I'm peeling. All right, so let's start with our solid. August 1. Ooh, light shimmer in that too. That's so gorgeous.
Be careful of the content you consume because this case is already gone. It took a left turn to Crazy Town a long time ago.
All right, so what I'm going to do is dip my solid nail. I'm going to put base on the nails. We're going to color block, and then we'll dip the 2 glitter nails, and then we'll come back to the color block nails. You just finished eating? All right, so you're going to be doing it. Okay, all right. No rush, Tara. You're not on it, Michelle? Oh, okay. Oh, thumb. I don't use a finger rest for my thumb. Sorry, that's loud. I'll turn it down as soon as I can. My mother texted me this morning, and of course, by the end of us messaging, I was like crying. And I'm like, you know, I can't be doing this 1 hour before I'm supposed to go live. My family is like so fractured. My niece is a little bitch. That's the thing. She got married, whatever, last year. She sent us a save the date. And there was no way we were going to be able to go because it was in South Carolina and we didn't have the money. We have pets. Nick couldn't take the time off and we didn't have the money to go, you know. So she sends us a save the date and then doesn't send us an invitation. And so I asked tell my brother how hurt I am. This was after the wedding when my kids were, Dominic didn't go, but all the other kids, everybody was at the wedding, my entire family, you know, my children, that it's okay for them to talk to, and it's like acceptable to them that they don't talk to me, but they can all get together, but I'm the one missing from it, you know? Nick and Dominic are missing from these gatherings. So she doesn't invite us to the wedding. So I had messaged my brother well, we were messaging back and forth, and I brought up how hurt I was about that, and that it's something I'm not going to get over. And he said that they all told her that she should have invited us. I mean, what was the point? What was the harm of sending the invitation when she knew we couldn't come anyway? So it was purposely to hurt us, like a purposeful smack in the face. And my brother says to me, why don't you look inside and figure out why you were uninvited? I'll pray for you. And I just came back with like, F off, you're blocked. I was so mad. So it's okay for them to have relationships, and my kids go to those weddings and have holidays together and everything. It's like acceptable for all of them. And then my boys have no relationship with Dominic at all. Nothing. They don't even bother with him. He's reached out to them. I've reached out to them by text, and they don't even respond to him. A 12-year-old. It breaks my freaking heart. I don't want to cry. But she got me all riled up. And because of everything I've gone through with losing my boys and having no relationship with them, this little shit with my brother is like piddly shit to me. Nothing can hurt me beyond how I've already been hurt. You know what I mean?
So that's June.
And then the only person I was talking to really in my family was my niece Mackenzie. Remember, she would come. She's the one who had the baby, but she would come over, and I'd do her nails, or she'd do her own nails. And she was like the closest I was to anybody in the family. And I had a conversation with my sister about how disgusted I was with everybody and with the wedding and everything. And I'm like, I'm just all set with everybody in the family. So of course she goes and runs and tells Mackenzie that. So then Mackenzie now thinks, I want nothing to do with anybody in the family. I didn't mean Mackenzie specifically. So I might actually reach out to my niece. I've seen she's liked my Instagram posts, and I know she's looking at my profile because I get notified and stuff.
That's the last interaction. I really, our chats, we're all together as a family. So it's so crazy to me that just weeks after he's sitting.
They all moved south and became friggin' religious nuts. That's what happened. Sorry to say it like that, but that's how it is. I'll pray for you.
And then she shot at, I wasn't on Facebook at the time, didn't know.
Are you kidding, Tara? Your sister? That's friggin' so rude. Yeah, I think you're right, Michelle. I am going to reach out to her. Because I'm sure she misses coming over and doing her nails. And I mean, it was like our girl time, like she stopped going to the salon and paying $100 a set, and was coming here and getting them done. I never would have thought this would have been my family, because growing up, it was my mother, me, my sister, and my brother. It was just us four. My dad wasn't in our lives, except for here and there. And we were just all so close. My brother was super respectful of girls because he grew up in a house full of women, so he understood women, and just also close in age. We're all only a year and a half apart. So from me to Michelle, I'm a year and a half older than her, and Michelle's a year and a half older than David. I'm 3 years older than David. So,
And it was interesting. There were a few people there. I thought I'm getting death glares here. Why? I'm feeling uncomfortable.
but they're the ones who all left.
And then people were seeing you.
We all lived in Rhode Island. They're the ones who left and moved to South Carolina. Dave first, then my mother and her boyfriend, and then my sister. So they took off. They all get to spend their holidays together, you know what I mean? We're the ones who aren't there. So part of me is resentful that they all just took off. My son's life got a lot smaller because my mother used to take him out places. Nick's mother doesn't take him ever, anywhere. Ever. Not once in 12 years. So I'm resentful of that. I have not forgiven my mother for moving to South Carolina. And they've been wanting to move back up for years, but rents are so expensive up here, they can't afford it, even though they own a house in South Carolina. You know, they can't afford rent up here. And she's stressing for us because we're paying $950 now. We're going to be paying at least double. And we struggle now. So I'm scared we're going to get a place. By the end of a year, we're going to be behind, probably get evicted, and then have to find another place, you know, at these rates. Or I could just start selling feet pics or my body or something. I'm sure it did piss you off, Tara. That's horrible. That's even worse than what my niece did because it was your sister. South Carolina too? Yeah. All right, so pinky on the glitter, glitter on the pinky and index. Let's do that. I'm sorry, I'm spilling my personal problems to you guys, but you guys are who I talk to about that stuff, you know, and it all just happens, so it's like fresh in my mind. And my oldest son's birthday is August 27th, Sunday. He's turning 27. I haven't. Last time, like, I had a relationship with him, we talked regularly and stuff, he was 15. 15. Now he's a grown man. You'd think he'd come around, right? Nick would never move there, Michelle. First off, he's freaked out. He won't leave here without another job lined up, and he's afraid he's not going to get another job making what he's making with the insurance and the pay. I mean, days off that he has, the vacation days, all that. He keeps bringing all that up, you know what I mean? And he just wouldn't move down there because of the political climate. We don't even have money to relocate. I know it is cheaper and stuff, but we can't just move down there with like no job, you know. If we're gonna do that, hell, I want to go to Bali. And Matt keeps saying, "You're talking about my life. This is my life." And Matt said, I'm certainly open to advice. And it's so funny, but like if this was somebody telling me this story, you know, and asking for my advice, I'd know exactly what to say. But when it's me and my feelings are all entangled in it, it's not so clear cut, you know.
About me. We're trying to figure out what the heck Joel did. Who's he married to? And
No, I know it's cheaper down there, but you get paid less too,
my brain's not even
don't you?
I don't know what just happened. So
I mean, my brother's got a job working for my sister's ex-boss who sexually harassed her for several years, my sister who was drinking after work, at work, and fell down the stairs and broke her neck. This is the same guy. Now my brother works for him, and he's like some kind of manager, like he travels around. He's making over $100,000 a year.
yeah, we're gonna move into the house because our apartment's
My brother with like 20 felonies, like he was a bad kid as a teenager.
so that just shows you what they've grown up with. That there's lots of stuff.
But he straightened his life out, and I'm super proud of him. He owns a beautiful house in South Carolina. He's fixed it all up himself.
He moves out. A couple days after that, we're told he's left for Hawaii.
So when you say you moved out, you moved into Lori?
He moved in with Lori's. Yes, we did get told after by a friend because it was Lori's that was sleeping into.
I would love to relocate. Like, I would go anywhere else, pretty much.
And talked to Chad. He said he can know Lori.
Nick doesn't even like my mother.
So he tells us.
And I don't think my mother likes Nick. She won't ever admit it, but
He's left for Hawaii.
I don't know. I mean,
After he left for Hawaii. And
honestly, I don't know how she feels about him these days.
She said he should be home comforting his children. Why is he in Hawaii?
She did send us an anniversary card. No checking it or anything, a card. Nick's grandma sent us a $50 check.
Whoever that guy was, he used that guy's name, telling us he was the one.
So that's one dip. I know I'm going slow because my mind's a turning. I would love for Nick to find remote work.
That was the story of why he went to Hawaii.
That's sort of his go-to.
Yes. You don't know, Michelle, how many times he'll say he's gonna look for another job, but he never does. He comes home and he's so exhausted, you know, every night. Maybe I should look for something online like customer service or something I can do. You know what I mean? Data entry, something I can do from home. I've seen ads for that stuff, but so many times when I click on jobs like that, it takes me to like, I end up getting so many spam emails afterwards, you know? I don't know if I'm looking on the wrong places or what. I think I need to do something to help out. He's working 2 jobs, working his ass off. I have to do something, you know?
Houses to introduce her that I know of. It was really safe because of his one. She said, "Oh, she's beautiful. I don't get what's going on here." You know, kind of.
I wish I didn't waste my life, you guys.
And so anyway, that happens. And in that conversation,
I should have never dropped out of college.
Heather and investigations can start.
But then I'd probably be a teacher making jack shit for money.
School that Ken worked at, they are concerned. So they've called police. And I said, thank you. Someone's called police because I said I wanted to. But I didn't have anything to tell them other than I have a bad feeling about this. So
Yeah, we have this place like Job Connections or something, but all they have are computers for you to look up jobs. It's not like, I don't know how to explain it. When I was on probation in the past and I would have to go there, and there was nothing.
I understood that the kids knew that there was an investigation that had started.
Maybe just look online. I'm hoping to have a yard sale in the next couple weeks, but I have so much organizing and cleaning to do. But I would really like to have one before we move. That would help give us, you know, a little bit extra money. I did 2 layers, but it's definitely thin in there. I might do a 3rd layer. Let's do a 2nd layer. Oh, let's do a 2nd layer on the pinky and see how it looks.
Then just, I've just been told that your dad's remarried. You have every right.
I think
to
this
be upset about
base is
that,
almost empty.
and that an investigation is opened. I am here. If I can do anything for you, I'm here. It was trying to let them know they had some family there that could help support. Immediately, all 4 of those kids, Garth's was, what the hell? It was.
Super pretty colors.
I am confused as confused. What is?
Oh, I forgot to put base down on my accent nails. Let me do that now.
They are not upset. They have to be upset. What's going on? Not 5 minutes later, my phone rings to chat. So I answered.
Okay.
Heather, how are you? He said, I'm good. I said, yeah. You have a problem from my life. And I said, I've been a problem for you your whole life. What?
Thin base. This is because we're going to color block these nails, right? We want to protect our peel base.
That's something I've been told by Matt Step. History clock. Because I'm asking.
I'm going to put a little over here.
So I said, Chad.
Yeah, that looks better. All right, there are definitely, I think, flakes in this. Trying to tell if the gold, I think,
He said, she's leaving. Do you want to meet her? And he said, I do not want to meet her.
I think they're gold flakes and blue glitters.
I said, what happened to Tammy? Chad, what happened? And, well, she had to come in with me.
Okay.
So I wanted to focus on what's
All right, so we got 2 dips on the pinky, index, and thumb. So let me close this up for right now. I think I need to switch to a bottle of base that's like fuller, you guys. Not Rossi base, though. It takes like 10 hours to dry. Nail candy it is.
I didn't even know what to say to him. I said, Chad, I understand. Or he said, why are you telling the kids there's investigations? Because there is, and there should be. And he said, well, he said I should have written it down, but he.
Alright. I am going to use my electrical tape again. I think this is going to be my go-to tape from now on. Gotta wait for these to dry though. Oh, and I think I'm gonna tap ombre some nude up at the top because I have some imperfections under my jelly tips that I don't want to be shown. So rather than doing like clear, we'll use a nude.
You know, the reality of the situation, and somehow it'll just disappear.
That's true. It's almost like he really believed that.
What am I watching? Let's change this. Hidden true crime. Thoughts, guys? Snowy. Let's see. YouTuber TV star male escort to murderous. The sudden murderous downfall of fitness YouTuber Ash Armand. All right, let's watch it. Coffee House Crime.
Ash Armand was a popular fitness YouTuber and reality TV star that threw his life away in an instant.
Okay, we
And
try.
this video explores his murderous actions and the strange.
This tape is probably like 1 inch thick, I would guess.
An entire fan base dedicated to him and his body. Upshire had many positive things working in his favor, but for one reason
trying
or
to
another,
see.
voluntary or not, one evening would change his
There we
life
go.
forever, with another losing hers. The question is, who is Asha Mons? Who was Herlene Delay? And why was she murdered? Welcome or welcome
So I'm just gonna cut it vertically down the width of it, you know, to narrow it.
The dark case of Asha Mons. Being a YouTuber myself, I can understand the complexities and pressures of being one.
And let's
But when this
see.
personal fitness YouTuber chose murder instead, I can't say I understand this logic. Coffee House Crime is all about true crime, strange and chilling
That's
stories.
too far
And the best
over.
way to support me is by subscribing.
I'm trying to
the channel.
divide
So,
it
if
into
you like
thirds,
dark
you
and fascinating
guys.
stories and think I should finally change the pattern of my
I don't
shirt,
think this
then
tape's
please
sticky
subscribe now.
anymore.
And now, with that said, please grab yourself a coffee, pull up a seat, and get ready for the deep dive.
I wonder if I should
This
just
is the case of Asha Mons.
do it by hand. No, that's not even sticky anymore. All right.
Today, we're taking a trip deep into the Mojave Desert found in Nevada. However, we aren't about to set our case in a sand-filled
It's hard to do
landscape.
this straight
Instead, our case
on
today
a
takes us
rounded
to the bright and
surface, so
bizarre
we're just
city
gonna
of
be
Las
careful
Vegas.
here.
The fittingly named Sin City is notorious for its gambling, fine dining, upmarket shopping, and adult entertainment industry. It is an extremely recognizable place to
Okay.
be, and a top travel destination for many looking
So I have
for
that
the
piece
wildest
on there. I'm gonna put another piece on the side. I'm gonna do the ombre first, and then we'll do the green around it. I think that will just be the easier way for me.
Performances from some of the most famous acts in the world. Now, I think we all already knew that Las Vegas can be a crazy place, but after researching what it's known for, I genuinely think I could be here for hours. In short, it's a place for human impulses, be it food, gambling, all the way through to sex and drive-through marriages. The city is also known as a destination for many aspiring individuals hoping to make it big. And in a place so
Nope,
famous
too
for its
wide.
various forms of extravagant entertainment, it is not hard to see why. This is also where we happen to find the leading lady.
All right,
in
I think
today's
that's
case.
pretty good.
That being 29-year-old Herlene Delay. Originally born in Santa Clara, California, to her loving parents in a Sikh household,
Okay.
Herlene's middle name, Kaur, means lioness, a name that is often given to daughters within the Sikh faith. Her parents, who were originally from India, were extremely well educated and affluent.
All
Her
right, that
father
looks
was an
pretty
aerospace
straight to
engineer,
me,
and her
right?
mother
The straight
achieved
down the
not
middle.
one, but 2 master's degrees. Now, Herlene was the youngest
grab a
of
couple
siblings,
ombre
and
brushes.
she would always claimed that she was her parents' favorite. Affectionately given the nickname Happy Herlene, she was always seen to be smiling and cracking jokes around the home. While simultaneously being outgoing at home, she was also a sensitive and thoughtful person.
All
Her
right.
best friend was the family's golden retriever named Rustan.
Wish
And
me
when she was young,
luck.
she refused to go to the zoo because she hated seeing animals in cages.
So the glitter's
She
gonna
was
start
also
at the
sensitive
free
towards
edge
other
and
members
come
of the
on
family.
up.
When her older sister moved out for college, she locked herself in a closet and cried because she didn't want her to leave. Herlene spent most of her childhood in California. Classmates recall her as an extremely bright and ambitious teenager, focusing on her studies to one day work in biological science.
Okay, hopefully
And
this
this
is
ambition
straight.
would eventually lead her to Temple University in Pennsylvania, where she would go on to achieve her bachelor's degree. After graduating in 2017, she took the plunge and moved to Las Vegas to find a more vibrant and exciting life, where she also planned to find and gain her postgraduate degree.
So I'm just gonna tap this glitter up.
She always had self-confidence issues, was debilitatingly shy, and had anxiety. But it's
Need to add more
when she joined
nude.
Fitness, a quote life-changing facility that promotes unity and
I have my window
self-development
open,
through
it's like
fitness.
blowing it.
At least for Herlene, this seemed to ring true because she found a real sense of community
Okay.
here. She became quite the gym buff, and over the next 30 days lost over 40 pounds. Her love for the gym would lead her to become a personal trainer there, and she became quite close with the manager, Nick, who helped her with her physical and mental health issues.
I like wiped off all the glitter. All right.
Around
Try
this
again.
time frame, Herlene claimed to be suffering from a brain tumor. Now, it's not very clear as to whether this existed or not. Some people close to her claimed that it was a lie, while others claimed it to be a thyroid tumor. Either way, likely not wanting to burden them with worry,
I'm gonna start with
she
the
didn't tell her
glitter this
family,
time.
and instead leaned on her gym community for support.
I got a glitter in there.
By the year of
Okay.
2020, Herlene had a new lease of life. She was finally growing in confidence and had begun to learn to love herself. But that didn't mean that throughout her health journey, she didn't have the
All right, I want to
occasional
see what this
relapse
looks
or
like before I
self-hatred.
do
And
the other one.
unfortunately, this is where I have to introduce you to Ash. Whether it be via Instagram DMs or a community day at the gym, we aren't quite sure. But it's around this time that Herline found herself in the company of 38-year-old small-time reality TV star and fitness YouTuber Ash Arman.
Okay.
And of course, what better way to
Whoa,
know
it's
who
not
is
crooked.
through
It's
that
not
video.
straight.
Yeah.
Let's tell people, like, who are you and what do you do, man?
Okay, so who am I? Well, professionally, I work as a male escort for a company called Cowboys for Angels. I used to do a show called Chicolos on Showtime.
All right, I gotta try and fix this. Look, it's like not centered.
I studied about like sexuality for a
It
long
looks
time, so
centered.
I've always been really interested in and how it affects society and how people interact with their sex and how to kind of master your own sexuality. So you know what you're doing.
No,
but it's
Michelle,
not
usually
something
I'll see an
dictated
ad
to
about a
you.
job
Yeah.
like while I'm scrolling
So you say
on
you used to work
YouTube or
for,
Instagram,
Michelle, or-
and you
Well,
click
I mean,
on it and it's like all this weird
technically,
stuff.
It's not canceled, but we haven't filmed
Like
it
you
in
have
2
to do
years.
all,
Okay.
it ends up
So,
being
I don't know what
like,
they're doing with this show.
You may have guessed already.
I don't
that Ash
know.
Armand
I don't
wasn't his
even know what
actual
I'm
birth
talking
name.
about.
His real name is Akshaya Kubiak, and he was born in India to vast
I get these things every day
With
about,
his mother being Asian Indian and his father being Polish American, Ash has a very unique and distinct appearance. And his physicality was obviously something that he greatly valued. Towering at a height of 6 foot and 2 inches and with long black hair, his physical features turned out to be essential for his livelihood, which also happens to be the reason behind changing his name. So, the reality TV show that he was featured on was named Showtime Gigolos, which, as you can imagine, focused on the work and lives of male escorts. Akshaya would use the name of Ash Armand for both
oh
business
my
and
god.
publicity purposes, probably in a desperate bid to try and keep his business and personal life separate. Apparently, becoming an escort
I don't know
was
what to do.
never
I
really his
totally
ambition,
messed this up.
and his
I put
family
glitter
say
going
that
the whole
this
way up.
just kind of happened. It was 8 years before meeting Herline that he was living in Miami with his then partner and their son as he worked as a massage therapist and a model.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get it off. Maybe I can cover it though in nude. Let's try and cover this up. I'm trying to save this here. All right. I'm going to try and finish this whole nail just to see what it
You see,
looks
Ash
like.
had always been raised in a holistic manner, believing in many variations of therapy, healthy living, and spirituality. He also grew up in Japan.
I see a little bit more I want to add
healing
glitter
traditions
to.
and philosophies of the East and the West. End quote, as his mother would put it. Life after childhood would follow suit. At the age of 16, he left school in order to study the ancient Chinese discipline of Qigong, a form of martial arts which encompasses meditation, health, and spirituality, and often includes the use of medicinal healing herbs. He was extremely well traveled too, studying both massage and holistic healing therapies in Thailand, Japan, Europe, and India, before finally settling in Miami. During this time, Ash was also involved in the Psytrance community, a group of people who would meet up in the countryside, take psychedelics, and hallucinate while listening to trance music. And it's here that he was, of course, introduced to the world of drugs. Having said that, he was by no means addicted to them, nor did he necessarily abuse them. Instead, he saw their use as more of a healing product. You can probably see
isn't
him as more of a
how I was
chasing magic
intending to
mushrooms
do
kind
this,
of guy,
Mandy.
rather than taking an addict on a 4-day bender. After settling in Miami, he opened his own massage business named Akshaya Touch. And in 2011, after being headhunted by an agency through social media, his work as a male escort began. Ash offered his company and services to women who were often lonely or down on their luck. He worked for the escort website named Cowboys for Angels, where Showtime eventually headhunted him for the reality TV show named
All right, let me
Revelist,
see if I can
which, of
fix it
course,
with the
followed
screen.
lives of several male escorts.
We're not able to.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it
it.
with a straight line, but I'm going to
I'm
try.
gonna have to bring somebody else in.
Get to know your new gigolo.
Hey, set up here. Is that cool?
Yeah, that works for you.
Meet Ash.
My name is Ash Rahman. I'm a gigolo. Very comfortable being around people, being around women. I've had a lot of lovers.
Not quite.
So it felt like it would be an easy thing for me.
I'm popping this nail off, I think, you guys. I gotta redo it.
Who is Ash Armand?
I am working on my right hand, but
I'll say
hot mess.
really passionate about what I do.
Worldly, huh?
So I was born in India. My mother's Indian, my dad's American. I grew up in Japan.
I love your skin color. It's amazing.
Thank you.
What is the secret to being a good gigolo?
To succeed in the business,
That
you
doesn't
have
look
to
good.
be, adaptable.
I think I'm better off
With
leaving a
comfortable
clear
around people.
nail.
What's your mix? Hot. You shouldn't be a self-centered, egoistic person.
What
I
do
don't
you
like
get
how this
out of it?
looks.
To genuinely look at it almost as like a healing experience. Oh, wow. Sometimes people like break down and cry because you touched them in a way that they've never been touched before. So it's just really giving them a lasting memory.
What's it like being the new guy?
It's definitely a little challenging in the beginning because the guys are kind of sussing you out.
Need me to show you how, newbie?
But generally they're really cool, so it's easy to vibe with them. We're all trying to do the best and be the best gigolo possible.
And how are your skills?
I think I'm good.
Watch Ash in action on season 3 of Gigolos.
While
Gigolos.
on this show, Ash portrayed himself as he saw himself in real life, that being a sensitive, peaceful, and gentle giant. Adding this to his refined physique and long flow, arguing that he was a good fit for the program. But of course, like any other
Okay.
form of reality television, or even here on YouTube, it is always wise to take everything seen on screen with a hefty pinch of salt. It turns out that a lot of the scenarios and so-called clients on the show were either fake or scripted with paid actors. Not to mention, Ash had also moved to Las
Bummer.
Vegas while working
Alright.
on the show, which, as many of you should know, is a state where prostitution is illegal. So everything that was actually occurring
I gotta
on
go
that
back
show
in
was
now with peel
entirely
base
fabricated.
again.
This
I'll
being
work
said,
on the
Ash
other
was
nail while I'm
characterized
doing
as
this.
some
Anybody?
kind of feeling, believing that what he was
Yeah, the
doing
green
was
does go
actually
on the
helping others.
sides.
His clients were often suffering from mental health struggles, or were otherwise not considered to be conventionally attractive. And sure,
I did
this
have
could
it
be
on the
seen as
sides,
petty and
Tara. I
sensitive,
just didn't
but
like how it
could also be
looked.
seen as a
I
highly
started
sensitive
with
human
the
being.
stripe in
In
the middle.
exchange
Maybe
for
I
this
should have done the
company,
green
Ash would charge
first.
$800 for 2 hours,
Maybe I'll do that on
3,000
this
for a
one.
night, and a
Let's
whopping
try that this time.
$25,000 for an entire week. This work would take him past his time as a TV star.
I'll put
and
the stripe down the
featuring 30
center, a
episodes
thin
in TV
stripe, and then
Foreign
we'll
Month in
put the
2016.
dark
Over this
green
period of
on
time,
either
Ash
other
developed a
side, you
very
know.
bad habit of taking steroids, with thanks to his own insecurity when comparing himself to the other gigolos. But despite the show eventually ending, this bad habit never stopped. No surprise, but during his time in the spotlight, Ash gained a liking to the attention he was getting from the public, especially women. He began to frequent the Las Vegas Strip in order to pick up bottle girls, and his use of drugs and alcohol began to increase. Though, again, his friends claim that he never became addicted. Now, Ash thoroughly enjoyed being a hot accessory to women. He loved to be seen as the so-called trophy date, and wanted
It's a
to be
little
among
wider
other
than I
like-minded people.
wanted.
Alright, so this is what I do to keep my hair.
Yeah,
really
that's a little
healthy.
wider.
My brother went bald when he was really
Hmm.
young, so I really tried to
I want to
get
go a little
close as much
narrower.
to what I'm eating.
Trying to
Putting my
divide the
body
nail
in
into
shape
thirds
for my
here.
hair, and also what I put in my hair. And I will show you what I do.
Let me just cut a little thinner.
Friends of Ash would go on to say that his time on TV changed him, and that he believed that he now had enough attention to spread his message of healing toward the general public.
Yeah.
Moving forward, his life seemed to follow the same pattern as before, practicing his holistic lifestyle while also taking the time out to party. His Instagram profile around this time frame would portray him as a
Started with the
fitness and
green,
sexual
yeah.
creator, as well as a father.
I should have
He saw himself
probably.
as a full sexual shaman and holistic healer, which,
All right,
of
let's do this
course,
again.
by the year 2020 is what would eventually draw Helene towards him. Helene had always struggled with her self-esteem. And to now have this beautiful man paying attention to her was something that most likely would have made her feel very special. Now, it's no secret that Helene herself was actually very beautiful, but I guess we all are sometimes our own worst enemies. Now, Ash would usually hang around with Instagram famous women with millions of followers. He took great pride in trying to build a social media and would often post more and more provocative photos to try and encourage engagement. So with all of this in mind, people did question why he chose a humbler and more down-to-earth woman like Helene. Some speculated that he may have been drawn to her because of their own shared Indian heritage, while others thought it may be because Helene was from a well-off family. And having a stable source of income like that was very appealing to him. After all, he did have a very bad habit of overspending. Over the next few weeks, the pair began to spend a lot of time together. But despite this, Helene's family weren't even aware of his existence. For whatever reason, she kept all of that under wraps. And although their relationship always involved sex, it would soon become much more than that. Ash took great pride in being able to spiritually heal Helene, and apparently claimed that he could
Brush
even
off.
eradicate her
I'll do a
tumor.
second
This
layer
began
of the
to take
green.
so-called healing trips together, which included a trip to Utah in June of
I can
2020.
see some spots I
Ash
missed.
claims that during this trip, he helped reach the next level of her mental state. Allegedly, he had unearthed some trauma in her past that she had long forgotten about. Of course, this was not a healthy way to deal with a vulnerable person's mental health. Ash was not qualified for this type of therapy and was meddling with her emotions. You see, Ash claimed that he could heal her, and although he did reference some proven techniques such as CBT, he also referenced unproven ones such as herbs and drugs. And in July of 2020, his
Okay.
controversial way of healing would end in a tragedy almost too violent to believe.
This color is gorgeous.
Come as a family and leave as a pack at Great Wolf Lodge.
At 10:23 a.m. on the morning of July the 16th, Las Vegas police received
All
a
right.
frantic phone call from a distraught and panicked man. And of course, the man on the other end of the line was Ash. This is going to sound insane.
I think I'm not going to
because it is
use the
insane.
nude.
He's often
Let's just
such
go
a-
for the
Ash
glitter
claims
here.
that after waking up in the morning, he found an unresponsive Helene next to him.
Do a full,
He once asked if she was still breathing,
ooh, I
and
got green
assuming
up
this
at the
was
top of my
likely to
nail.
end in cardiac arrest. He was instructed to perform CPR on her while an ambulance rushed to their location. Sadly, though, this would
So we
do
want to
nothing.
try and only go up about
The ambulance arrived,
halfway.
paramedics briskly made their way up to the bedroom. But when they got there, they were met with a sight that was far from an unexpected heart attack. Helene's face was almost totally unrecognizable. She was black, blue, and swollen from obvious signs of trauma. She had suffered heavy bruising quite literally from head to toe. Blood had also
Something
pooled
like
around her head,
that.
and sadly, she was pronounced dead at the scene. Realizing the gravity of the
I'll probably
situation,
do a
one
second layer
paramedic
of glitter
rushed to the
on
site to make
those.
sure that he didn't
Oh,
try
this is
to
dry.
run away.
All right.
In a current state of shock and despair, he told the officers that he would never do such a thing.
Oh, I
and
can use
further
this.
confessed that
Nope.
he was actually
Not
responsible.
sticky.
Saying that, Ash claimed that apparently Helene had attacked him first. And of course, after this, he was very swiftly arrested.
I'm out here this afternoon to brief you on a homicide investigation that we are conducting in the southwest part of the valley in the 8400 block of Blackstone Ridge Court, which is again near the intersection of Blue Diamond
Okay.
and Decatur. I stress the details that I'm sharing right now are extremely preliminary, but at around 10:20 this morning, we received a 911 call reporting that a male or a female was unresponsive inside the residence about 100 yards behind me. Officers and medical personnel arrived on scene, and that female was pronounced deceased. The male boyfriend who lives in the residence, who is an Asian
Did I
male,
put base on this, you guys?
30s, was taken into
I didn't,
custody.
did I? I
At
just
this
put peel
point, we're in the
base. Hold
process
on.
of obtaining a search warrant to process the scene, and our initial observation, we believe there was a struggle or a battery of some sort. But this,
Okay.
again, was very, very preliminary, and that's from the initial walkthrough of the scene. So with that, I will take a couple questions, but I stress I don't have much more to share.
How old did you say?
The victim is a Asian male.
Let me close
He is
the
in his
nude.
late
We're not
30s.
gonna
He
need it,
appears
I
to be
don't
a white
think.
Female. She appears to be a white. Well, she's a white female. Appears to be
How's it coming out,
early
Tara? How's it
30s.
looking?
Yes. We believe there was some type of
I talked to
trouble.
Patty yesterday morning, but then she wasn't at the live, and then I didn't hear from her. I was gonna text her this morning, but I didn't get around to it. Hope everything's all right. I'm sure if anything happened, she would have messaged me, but just kind of weird that I didn't hear from her last night or this morning. Kendra said she might stop by because we're supposed to be twinning on the BBB on Monday. I was gonna swatch the dips and we could pick a design, but she ain't here.
The report concluded that she'd experienced 5 broken bones, 5 fractures, 9 abrasions, 31 bruises, and 14 lacerations across her entire body. Which,
Quite the
very
mess up
disturbingly,
around
at
my
the time,
middle
years
nail
later.
here up at
The
the top.
unfortunate woman suffered severe internal bleeding. Blood was found in her lungs, and most horrifyingly, some of her teeth were found in her stomach. The cause of her death was determined to be blunt force trauma. With
Okay,
strangulation
this
as a
looks
secondary
good. The middle one. Let me do the extra layer of glitter while we're waiting on our peel base. So again, I'm gonna go the whole stripe down. This will allow some stray glitters to go up a little higher and give it a better ombre effect.
As many claimed that apparently Herlene was essentially straight edge. She rarely drank and looked after herself, and had never even had weed, let alone MDMA or psychedelics. Within the condo, they found bloody handprints all over the bedroom and in the utility room. Blood was found inside of the washing machine, and bloodstains were washed out on the counter, therefore revealing a crude attempt to conceal the crime. It also confirms that the phone call to emergency services
It's a little higher, the ombre, than I wanted, but it's fine. All right, there we go. Dry it off. Sorry, I was made a mistake here with how I did it.
That was when, on the evening of July the 16th, and after making numerous calls to her phone, somebody finally picked up. But sadly,
sometimes you don't think things through, you just start doing it, and it's not like the easy way to do it.
Friends, family, and fans all rallied behind him, insisting that a man so gentle and kind would never be able to do such a thing. But upon further questioning, the true events and the ugly details behind her death would finally come to light.
Okay, that looks good.
That fateful night,
Press
Herlene traveled
down.
to do some spiritual healing and tap into his so-called healing aura.
Not quite.
But Ash's methods were controversial to say the least. They planned to take some magic mushrooms, pray, meditate, and then watch the movie Avatar. Not exactly sure what Avatar had to do with the journey to healing, but what do I know, right? This plan is exactly how the night ended up going. With leftover
Trying to get
mushrooms
it
found in
perfectly
Ash's fridge to
even.
prove this, with mushroom trips typically lasting 3 to 8 hours.
There
It is
we
likely
go.
that this altercation happened far before the emergency services were called. And this makes sense too, considering the haphazard cleanup would have taken multiple hours to conduct. During this time frame, Ash was
Alright, I'm happy with this.
his tracks rather than saving her.
Only took like 5
A
times
packed suitcase was
taping
found
it.
in the condo, indicating that he had at least seriously contemplated fleeing from the crime scene. At some point during that night, whether Herlene attacked him first or not, Ash attacked her with a
I just
level
want to
of
make sure your
violence far
tape is
beyond the
pressed
typical case
down
of
because
self-defense.
otherwise
By the way,
you will
it is
have
still
dip
unknown
base
at this point in
and
time
even
if
dip
the
powder
was
seep,
arranged or not.
seep,
Because
I'm
sadly,
sorry,
he has remained tight-lipped
underneath
ever
the
since
tape,
he was
you know.
Although Ash lived in a luxury
Like
Vegas
this is
condo
lifting up
and
at
was
the
an
bottom. I want to
extortionate
stick
amount of
something
money for
else
his
on
time,
there to
he
hold
was
it
being
down.
brutally smart with his cash. The man wasted almost all of it on failed business endeavors and an exuberant lifestyle, and we know that he was getting desperate because he even asked Herlene if she could help pay his rent.
Alright,
An
we're just gonna
envelope
leave it
with
like
Ash
that.
rent was discovered in her own apartment, which further suggests that Ash may have been using Herlene and her emotions for money. It turns out that she was financially supporting him in exchange for his so-called healing services. Ash's trial was
It's still not
convoluted, to say the
even.
least.
I don't
Once
want to
again,
have to
the
keep
COVID
moving
pandemic slowed
it.
down all legal proceedings across America. But in September of 2020, he finally stood trial. Despite previously confessing, Ash would plead not guilty to Herlene's murder, but all the evidence available would suggest otherwise. Ash claims that at the time of her
I think
death,
that's
his
gonna be too
drug-induced
wide.
states, which included mushrooms, MDMA, steroids, and alcohol, diminished his responsibility. But of course, the judge called his defense out for exactly what it was. Total bullshit. She offered him a plea deal of voluntary manslaughter instead of murder, an offer that Ash would actually take. She therefore sentenced him to 20 years in prison with the possibility of
Too
parole up to
wide.
8 years.
Guys, I'm getting all
Apparently, the sentence was really
annoyed.
reduced due to the lack of sense and premeditation. Although this was most likely the best outcome for Ash, his defense team still pushed for his minimum sentence to be reduced to 4 years due to the unlikelihood of him ever repeating his actions in the future. Perhaps not surprisingly, and definitely thankfully, this was rejected. Although the judge agreed that Ash was unlikely to commit another violent crime, she stated that the lower sentence would not reach the gravity of this situation. It would not match the pain that her family members will forever have to deal with. Herlene's family, who of course attended the trial, gave tearful victim impact statements. Her brother stated she wasn't
Alright.
simply taken
I think
part.
this is too
She was
thick, but
brutally beaten to
whatever.
death.
I'm not
I don't know
fixing
why
it
my
again.
sister
It's
would want
staying
to
the
be
way it
subdued
is.
with such force. When arrested, Akshay Kubiak was held without bail in the Clark County Detention Center since July 2020. Though that wouldn't be without him arguing that the ongoing COVID pandemic was a good enough reason for him to make bail. Perhaps he thought that his charm would help him weasel his way out of properly serving his punishment, which, no doubt, is a disgrace to Herlene's memory. And although the man does show deep remorse, his insistence on lesser sentencing and
So I
receiving
can
bail shows a very
see
distinct lack of guilt. Luckily, his
again,
efforts
even
are
on the
still
last
allowed
step
us to look
too.
into
Like I
his
missed
head,
some
which
spots
is
at the
exactly
sidewall.
how it should be.
The side looks okay, but the other
Herlene
side
was taken from the
definitely
world far
missed some
before her time,
spots.
and her loved ones have lost a gentle, kind, and caring daughter, sister, aunt, and friend. She was finally growing and blossoming into the person she'd always strived to be, learning to love herself and the community around her. Sadly, Ash was willing to take advantage of her insecurities and her health scare for his own gain. And although he may supposedly not be the violent type, it doesn't diminish his role in her death. The ongoing testimony from loved ones after her passing was filled with admiration and sorrow, with one of her closest friends saying, "I don't
Okay.
think I will ever meet someone with the biggest amount of love in their heart as Herlene. When
Hopefully I
such
have
an
full
impact,
coverage.
that makes you instantaneously vulnerable." Sadly, Herlene had to have 15 hours of reconstructive surgery.
See a spot up at the top
And
I
although
missed.
Akshaya does not recall the moments that he took her life, her family will likely imagine it every day for the rest of theirs. Despite his charge of murder, Ash still sees a lot of support from his fan base. To this day, many don't believe that he was capable of committing such an act of violence. Fan mail still comes into his prison block, and a
Alright.
funding drive was set up to help pay for his legal fees. It turns out that, even in these cases of savage murder, pretty privilege still exists to make a mockery of the justice system. It's a bit of a strange story, if you ask me. This case was entirely unpremeditated, and I actually question if he ever wanted
That's
to
what
kill
that
Helene in
one
the
looks
first
like.
place. Add a Showtime
I
gigolo
need
and a
to-
personal YouTuber with 69,000 subscribers into the mix, and yeah, this one's quite freaky. But I think I'm going to wrap this one up here today, folks, because yeah, that's the end of the story. I don't think I've missed any details out. So,
I missed
what
a
are your
lot
thoughts
of it.
about this case? Do you think that Ash ever wanted to hurt Herlene, or
Hmm.
do you think this case was entirely unpremeditated? And do you think that 20 years is enough? As always, please leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I do genuinely try to read all of them. If you
I'm gonna
found this
try to
video
add a little
interesting,
more
then please remember
green.
to like the video, and if you do want to see more dark and fascinating stories, then please subscribe now. Anyway, folks, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I'll be back again very soon with another one. Until the moment arrives, though, remember to look after yourself, look after each other, and of course, stay safe. Thank you.
I'm just
Goodbye.
trying to make the green a little wider.
Thirty-seven-year-old mother of five, Rachel Morin, went for a jog in Bel Air, Maryland on August 5th, but never returned home. She was reported missing that night. The
Gosh, I
following
made a
day,
mess
her
holding my
remains were
fingers.
discovered under horrific circumstances. Law enforcement officials are staying tight-lipped on the details surrounding Rachel's death, but the case has been deemed a and while no suspects have been identified, authorities
I'll
are
take care of that
interviewing
with a
those
file.
closest to Rachel. Tonight, what we know
Alright,
about
let's see what
Rachel
this looks
Morin
like now.
and the mystery of what happened to her on that trail. Good evening to you and
Whatever.
welcome to Closing Arguments. I'm Julie Grant, in tonight for Vinnie Politan. We begin this evening in Maryland, where a missing person case is now a homicide investigation. We're talking about 37-year-old mother of 5, Rachel Morin. She was last seen alive on August 5th. Her body was discovered the next day. Right now,
Ombre brush.
we have more questions than we do answers as to what happened to Rachel. Let's begin, though, with the newest developments. Jeff Hagar with Scripps affiliate WMAR reports.
Images of Rachel Morin, murdered mother of 5, now mark the Ma and Pa Trail. The Harford County Sheriff's Office has been inundated with questions surrounding her death, prompting the sheriff to take to social media.
One question we have continued to get centers around whether we have interviewed the boyfriend in this case. The answer is yes, we have, along with many other people who are close to Rachel.
A modern-day whodunit, this case almost immediately attracted the attention of the national media, as well as from outlets.
I'm going to do a
from
second
abroad.
layer of glitter.
While the sheriff's office
I have to come up a little
78,000
higher to
followers on
match my
Facebook,
other one.
Posts about Rachel's murder have reached 2 million people.
This looks like
Public Hungry
shit.
for Answers is gobbling up coverage of virtually anyone claiming to have information about the case.
Basically, when we walked up, we saw fresh blood. And my daughter's boyfriend thought it was deer blood at first.
Police say they're frustrated by such people seeking the spotlight.
Obviously, there are people out there who are coming up with putting out information in the
All right, let's cover everything up. We can brush off and encapsulate, activate, and then, oh my god, I cannot wait to
Investigators are
file
also
on them.
concerned about the integrity
Make
of the
them as
case.
best
Details
looking as
only known to the
possible.
killer become public. Not to mention the impact it could have on Rachel's family.
All the false information that's going on out there, hearing about possible injuries to her and how this crime occurred, which
Oh, also,
has got to make
I have some pretty
and so people need
bare
to think about that when
spots
they're
on
out
my
there spending that
pinky.
kind of
I
money.
might dip my
In Harford
pinky
County,
in.
Jeff Hager, WMAR 2 News.
Hello,
I want to bring
bear
in
at
our
the
guest
free
and talk
edge.
some more about this case. Joining us is this evening from Baltimore, Maryland.
I'm just gonna patch the
WMAR
bottom.
anchor Kelly Swoop is with us, and retired NYPD sergeant, the former director of the NYPD Homicide School, and the author of 2 books, The Criminal Investigative Function and The Cold Case Handbook. Joseph
There we go.
Jackalone is with us as well. Joseph and Kelly, thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
What do you
Let's
do?
just
Freehand your
start
color
with where
blocking,
things
Tara?
are this evening, the sentiment there in Maryland, in this area, everybody.
You
on
started
edge of
filing?
this
Okay.
show. Kelly, let
You're
me
so
go to
fast.
you, for that, please. What are you
Faster than
hearing? What
me.
are people there
I have like
saying
hairs
tonight,
all over me.
please?
Julie, a lot of people concerned
Alright.
about their safety.
Oh my god,
This
it's
is a
still
very,
there.
very popular
Okay.
park, the Ma and Pa Trail, in a very suburban area, about 35 miles outside of Baltimore. Not a lot of crime in this Harford County community. So police basically stepped up their efforts to ensure people that they were safe. But still a lot of questions about what happened to this mom who was actually just there going for a run or a walk.
Hey, my nails, Vivian,
Reported
to
missing, and the next day
encapsulate.
her body was found, and there've been a couple of memorials and things organized to show support for her and her family. I know the family has an event coming up on Saturday, but just a lot of people want to know whether or not this was an isolated event, or she was targeted. It's just scary for a lot of folks in Harford County right now.
Absolutely, it is, Kelly, and understandably so. Joseph, let me go to you, please. Kind of help us pull back the curtain. What are investigators
This
doing
girl
right
who is
now
jogging in
tonight,
Maryland,
please?
right? Mother of 5, murdered.
Well, one of the
Jogging
things that we
like
have
on
to
a
look
trail.
at is cell phone records, internet records, of course. Those things play a role.
Rachel
in this. See if we can
Morin,
maybe,
that's her name.
Triangulate cell phone
Court
data
TV's
within where
covering
the
it
victim
right
was
now.
attacked and see who was in the area at that time.
They haven't caught the
As you watch
person
the
yet.
news releases, they see, it's not very populated per se in regards to large sections of the trail. However, there are a lot of developments within that. And one of the things that I would be focusing in on now, and I'm sure the police are too, is if somebody is going to pull off something like this, they have to plan out.
Hey, Patty, we were just talking about you. You did freehand it, Tara? Jelly.
Of the trail.
I was just saying, I hadn't talked to you since yesterday morning.
There's a cul-de-sac there. There's also an area that could be.
How's it going?
Another parking area. So, for instance,
How's
if you're
Daddy?
going to flee, if you, let's say you use that cul-de-sac, there might be video surveillance too. So cell phone records, internet records, and video surveillance, I refer to them as the forensic horsemen. And those things are the things that move forward these cases. And I think that's where investigators are looking into right now.
Joseph, thank you for that. During a press conference, the Harford County
Oh,
Sheriff
hi,
laid
Brandis.
out the details
Are
of
you
when
gonna
Rachel
triplet
Moore was
with me
reported
on
missing,
Tara on
where
this
her
Monday?
car was eventually located. Let's
The
take a
Revelist
listen.
Club dips, and we'll post
It was
tomorrow
reported, by the individual
if you can get it
boyfriend,
done.
that Rachel Morin, who's age 37, it headed out from her home on Old Emerton Road around 6 p.m. to go to the Mod Pod Trail. Once she had not returned as and when expected, the family was obviously concerned. Initial information from the boyfriend, again, the caller who reported her missing, indicated her car was at the lot at the trailhead here on William Street, behind like where Independent Brewery is, the people that are familiar with Bel Air. The car was there, but she was not.
There we go.
The Mon Pa Trail website has this map of the Bel Air section of the trail, and the website says that the trail winds through wooded, moderately sloped sections.
How are you ladies doing today, Patty and Brandis?
Tollgate Road to its northern.
So I'm twinning with Tara and I think Brandis with August Revelist Club dips. That's what we're using, and I'm just encapsulating now.
As well. Kelly Swoop, I want to go back to you, please. Something that kind of puzzles me is that we hear about this trail being so popular, and we know that people were on it that day, not just Rachel Morin, but I'm curious how this could happen with nobody being around to hear screaming or to possibly stop it. Could you kind of shed some light on that, please?
Well, you know, the sheriff has been asked, you know, have there been witnesses? Who have you talked to?
You're okay? How's Daddy?
Coming in for it, and he's made it very, very clear that there were witnesses.
Want me to change it, Michelle?
What they saw, what they heard, unclear to us at this point because they're being very tight-lipped about their investigation. But
I can change it if you want,
as well as interviewing the boyfriend. So police, as an investigator said, are being very tight-lipped.
This was in Maryland, though, you know.
Behind the scenes in terms of what happened, you know, like tracking the phone records, you know, trying to find out who was in the area.
Reminds me of Chandra Levy, like when she went missing, jogging in the woods or whatever.
Dotting all their I's and crossing all their T's to make sure that.
Oh, yeah, did you see Brandis? The Idaho trial, Brian Koberger, he waived his right to a speedy trial. After saying, nope, he wanted a speedy trial, now he waived his right. So instead of going to trial on October 1st or 3rd, it's going to be months or probably years before he goes to trial now.
Rachel Morin, or if Rachel Morin just happened to be a random victim of a very violent crime. What are the things that might be indicators of one or the other to law enforcement, please?
If I start thinking about it too much, Michelle, I freak myself out even going hiking with Dominic, you know what I mean? Because there's stories of people hiking and they run into a stranger, he pulls a gun on them or whatever, you know? I worry about that stuff too, but...
However, so some of the things that
you know, like, you can't live in fear, right? Even though I do.
If there was any weapons used, if that weapon was found at the scene or was it brought to the scene, different things such as blood spatter, if there was a vicious attack in that kind of respect. And of course, the most important aspect from an investigative standpoint, as far as I'm concerned, is was the victim sexually assaulted or was it staged to look like a sexual assault?
I've done Manny's like this before, but I feel like it's the first one I've ever done.
Also, two forensics experts that have probably combed the scene very carefully, including her clothing and everything else that in and around that area of that crime scene.
I appreciate it, Joseph. Kelly, let me go back to you, please. In terms of these details that we all want to know and investigators are...
Oh, yeah, there's no bond with 4 murders. Yeah, so he'll be in jail for the whole time.
Anything else tonight? I just want to make sure, because you and your colleagues have done a tremendous
job.
job covering
Brandis,
on the ground there. Any details at all?
Patty, how's Dad?
What type of weapon?
Oh, I missed it. Okay, hold on. Still fever, high blood pressure. They did an MRI.
Sex assault, like.
Did they get the results of the MRI?
They were very, very tight-lipped about that. We did have a witness that pretty much.
Did they find the source of the infection yet?
It was in Jeff Hager's story, a man who claimed that he.
Does that mean he doesn't have meningitis? I know I'm asking a lot of questions.
That it was very, very bloodied, and people were very, very upset when those details kind of came out into the light. That's when the
They're not sure, you guys. It could be meningitis. It could be sepsis.
People putting information out there that we don't know if it's
They're
true
not
or
really
This
sure
works with their
exactly,
family.
so they're
It
running
could
all
hinder
these
the
tests.
investigation. So as far as if that individual
I was getting
is
ready to
correct,
file.
we
Let's
don't really
activate
know at
though
all. So
first.
police, again, not wanting to jeopardize their case, not really letting us know a lot.
I want to
about
take a
if
look
there's a
at
way, you know. I
my
just did
color
hear them
block nails
say
before
that
I
it was a
do
very, very
activate
brutal,
them, just to
horrible
see if
crime.
there's
And
anything I
beyond
need to
that, they
fix
won't
real
give us much
quick.
more information.
Exactly, Kelly. Joseph, back to you. In terms of what can be learned and who it can be learned from, we know investigators are saying that they're talking to the people closest to Rachel Morin, the people who knew her best, and then of course those witnesses, as Kelly mentioned.
Oh well.
Where else might they be looking? I'm wondering, might they be looking on social media to see if anybody is talking about this? Could there be clues there?
Well, certainly, right? So you always, as an investigation, you always start with the victim's closest relatives and families and husbands and wives and everything else. Because why? We are victimized by someone we know most of the time. So investigators always key in upon specific. So, instance, you have a situation where you have a boyfriend, so automatically they are one of the first people that the police are interested in these cases. Well, like I said, why? Because most time we are victimized by this person. So investigators will start, and think about it as like a ripple. You throw a rock in the water, you start off real small, and then it actually comes out a little further on down the line. They're going to speak to everyone they can, and yes, I believe social media can play an important role in this, including internet records, text messages, you name it, because, and not just from the victim's standpoint, but also from possible suspects too.
No,
Because,
no results
we've
yet.
seen in the past in several
How's his
cases,
neck?
people
Is
have
it still
given themselves
hurting?
up by
Did they
saying
give him
things and doing
anything
things on
for
the
it?
internet and using text messages that they're not really either aware of at the time, or they regret it much later on during
There's
the
a
investigation.
medicine
Exactly, Joseph.
shortage
We know
until the
that
28th.
Rachel Morin is leaving behind
Greatest country in the world, people, remember?
Which makes this even more heartbreaking. And people
You guys
in the
know
community,
we
as soon
pay
as they heard a mom
twice
was
as
missing,
much per
rallied
person for
together.
health
We're
care
trying to have,
as any other
Kelly, in terms of
civilized
highlighting them
country.
out there, was it a
And we
big
have
showing
poorer
of
outcomes, and we're
support from the
living
community trying to
less and
find
less.
the point when she
The
was still missing and
discrepancy
her body
between the
hadn't been
well-off
discovered?
and the working class, how long they live, has now reached 10 years. So Congress and rich people are living on average 10 years longer than the middle class because of their A-plus health care that they denied to us. You know what I mean?
By the family. That was actually from
All the insurance company is a middleman, and our politicians are bought off to not vote for Medicare for all. And that's why the only politicians you see for it are politicians who don't take corporate money.
And there is a GoFundMe account set up to help that.
Do you know how much that would help all of us, you guys? We all just have a card. You go to any doctor you want. Your prescription is 50 cents or $2. I think the max was going to be $3 for a prescription. No copay when you go to the doctor. No copays for specialists. You can go to any doctor you want because we all have Medicare, so all the doctors take it. And it would save the average family per person pays $13,000 a year for medical care. Insurance. That's $39,000 for my family. My husband makes 40 grand a year.
Like I said, the trail is a very, very popular trail that a lot of people walk on. Families.
I know Republicans like to say, "Oh, it's going to raise taxes. It's going to raise taxes for the rich. It might even raise it a little bit for the middle class. But wouldn't you rather pay $1,000 extra in taxes and get all that health care for free? You don't have to worry if you get cancer because it's included. You know what I mean?"
To honor Rachel's memory, to also raise money for the family. And like
it's not even like it's on the agenda, but there are still people fighting for Medicare for all. Even though, you know, you're not going to hear it on the news unless it's in a negative light because they don't want us to have Medicare for all. You know, how many times you're watching the news and you get commercials for pharma drugs, you know what I mean? That's exactly why.
What questions are at the top of your mind this evening, please?
I just can't believe how bad it's
First one that jumps
gotten.
off the page is were there any complaints about anybody on the trail, or was anybody harassed, or was anybody?
And then with all the fires going on, there's some in South America.
So that would be my first thing that I would be looking at.
They're all over
Does
the
this
place,
system
the
investigate? So when
wildfires.
you have situations
Maybe
like this,
that's
you
how
always
we're
go
all
through
gonna
what you refer
go.
to as a complete report or an investigative report, and we would then go through all of those instances to see if there is
World
something
of
there that maybe
Flames.
gave a description, maybe that you know what this person not only looked like, but if they
Why
drove a
would
car
they do that,
and
Patty?
what.
Cut
So
his
that's
pain
just something. I
meds.
think that's just investigative 101 that you would find, and I believe that the police
If
were
he's,
probably on top
you
of that
know.
right away. And I also like the fact that both the police chief and I think it was the colonel there too. You know, they came out and pretty much.
I mean, he's in the
emphatically, you know,
hospital. It's
saying
not like they're sending him home with a
you know, trying to police
prescription,
the
you
certain
know. They
people
can give him
because,
whatever
he
he
was saying that
needs
the
in the
investigators
hospital.
we're saying that this person was not even at the crime scene. So we have to be really careful about that kind of material that gets released on there. And it could hurt your investigation.
Oh, yeah, the medicine instead of the fever.
Inundated with things.
No.
We've seen this now
You know, you
over and
say,
over again.
I know
So
my
that's a
dad.
major
That's the
investigation.
fever.
The true crime community, it can do a lot of good, but there are some within it that can also bog down an investigation, and we saw that. So, you know, the one thing I like to see, I'm not sure, you know, I might have missed it, but maybe.
Well, if he's still in pain,
or some other type of,
advocate for
you know,
them to increase it at least to
clues out there
10.
to get people to come forward with
You know,
something.
maybe they'll
Has anybody, you
compromise.
know, look like there was injuries because you know, this woman seemed to be in pretty good shape. She's out jogging on a trail, so the likelihood is.
Patty, I bet your bracelet's at your house waiting for you. Kendra got hers.
Nails. There's a whole bunch of things that we don't know, but I think there are things that the investigators.
Brandis, did you send out my order yet? I'm curious.
Make an arrest, and I believe. Listen, I have confidence that they are because. When you're seeing that 10 people are on this,
or do I have to wait for something to be made, or
social media? They're actually going out there and engaging people. But I think
I have no idea how it works.
a particular person by now.
Mm-hmm. I always say it on the show.
Wow, the hot mess on
police
this
are
now.
always further along than they let the public know, and for good reason. And I'm glad you mentioned that tonight, Joseph. We all hope that they are very close to solving this case and getting justice for Rachel Morin's family. I want to say a big thank you to WMAR anchor Kelly Swoop for coming on the program tonight. Kelly, thank you so much, and we'll continue to stay in close touch with you and your colleagues at the station for any new developments. Take good care. And Detective Joseph Jackalone is going to stay with us. We have to hit a break, folks. Before we do that, we've got a preview for you of what is coming up next tonight here on Closing Arguments. On this hour of Closing Arguments, the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students is preparing for trial. Brian Koberger is first expected at a hearing this week, and we have a preview.
If you just go to bed at night and somebody can come and get you, there's no way to be safe, you know. There's no way to be safe to be able to prevent somebody from stalking. So that's not the answer. The answer is, you know, eliminating these people and removing them from societies.
I got a lump here. I gotta try and find a little, like an awkward spot too.
Circumstances.
Eccentric widower Thomas Randolph.
Charged with the murders of his wife and the man he allegedly paid to kill her.
The 2017 conviction overturned.
Plan between Mr. Miller and Mr. Randolph was to kill Sharon.
Now he faces a jury once again.
The Widower Murder Trial. Live coverage weekday mornings at 8/7 Central on Court TV.
Oh, okay. Okay, Brandis, no rush. I was just curious.
Why? My back feels better.
Before Advil. New Advil.
Just stay on them, Patty. Stay on them.
For 8 hours of reverse.
Are you at the hospital or are you home?
About Michael Gabrzeski. So he's the
Or
guy
your dad's,
who
I
claims that
mean.
he found Rachel Morin's body the day after she disappeared. Gabrzeski spoke to several different news outlets about it, claiming that Rachel Morin had severe head trauma and might have been hit with a rock or hit with a baseball bat. But this morning, our Julia Janae spoke with the Hartford County Chief Deputy. His name's William Davis, and he says the sheriff's office does not buy Mr. Gabrzeski's claims.
All right, that looks pretty
that
good.
was on the news, and he's been on many news outlets.
I found my
talking about
ergo
what he saw at
file
the crime
too.
scene. Our investigators have confirmed that he never saw the crime scene and he never saw the body of Rachel Moore. And so anything you've heard from him, you just got to discount everything that he said that's out there. Because as I've said before and on other media outlets, that it's very important for an investigation like this that the only people that know what that crime scene looked like is the actual killer and our detectives. So that when we finally do narrow it down and catch a suspect, that we make sure we get the right person.
That's right. You know, it makes you wonder, why do people have to do stuff like that? Does that bug you? It really bugs me.
Brandis, are you doing this manual with us? Did I miss your answer?
Sergeant Joseph Jackalone. And joining us from Indianapolis, the co-host of the Murder Sheet podcast, Anya Kane and Kevin Greenlee. Anya and Kevin, welcome to you both. We were just talking about this guy a couple of minutes ago. And Joseph, you know, when you hear about these people that do this, in your years of doing investigations, I'm sure you've come across them. They say they saw something that they didn't see. They claim to be in a place.
Michelle, do you have trails near your house that you can go running and hiking on and stuff? Like really close to your house? Like, can you go out your backyard into a trail, or do you have to travel?
Well, when you're dealing with a high-profile case specifically, you have people that want that 15 minutes of fame. So
I want to go to that waterfall in Oregon. It's like a tunnel waterfall or whatever. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous.
Within a matter of minutes. And it's just something that happens.
It's like you go through rocks and
sometimes you get people.
Yeah, it's just super cool.
Confess to the crime. I mean, just because once again they want to be famous in that respect. That's why when the
Dominic's obsessed with geography and countries and states, so I've learned a lot from him.
They can ask specific questions to this individual, and they'll know right away if this person was at the scene or he wasn't at the scene.
Mm-hmm. Hope he didn't make any TikToks that are going viral on this, especially after the sheriff's department saying he's not credible. Don't listen to it. So what I want to know, Anya and Kevin, is what you two want to know. You both are very well-versed in conversations happening in the true crime community, the cases that are making headlines. And this one is the one that seems to be grabbing the attention of people all over the world, just not in the United States. Let's talk about where the conversation is, what people want to know about, what they're saying. Ladies first, please, Anya. Let me go to you to start us off.
Absolutely, and thanks so much for having us on. I would say that one thing we really want to know, and one thing that we've seen that other observers of this case want to know, is this a stranger killing? Was this some predator lying that took advantage of the fact that Rachel was alone? Or is this a situation where somebody who knew her may have wanted to do her harm? That to us is fundamentally one of those huge questions in the case, and I think it's just something that we're going to wait to see.
File keeps getting unhooked and falling off.
Is doing, and if any arrests are made quickly or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. According to the sheriff, Rachel Warren's boyfriend, his name is Richard Tobin, was the one who reported her missing, left a lot of people wondering if he had any involvement in her disappearance or her death, and he responded to the speculation with a comment on his Facebook page. I want to show that to you now, saying, quote, "I love Rachel. I would never do anything to her. Let her family and I grieve. Yes, I have a past, but I also have 15 months clean and have changed as a person. Please." Now, this morning, during her interview with the Hartford County Chief Deputy, Julia Janae asked if Rachel's boyfriend is being looked at as a suspect. Here's what the chief said.
This out.
I wouldn't say that it's anybody that really isn't a suspect.
I'm using the 100
He has been very cooperative, and he's willing to talk to us anytime we ask him to.
Okay, so that answer is about as clear as mud, right? Let me bring back in my guest. Kevin Greenlee, let me go to you on this one. He's not going so far as to say the guy's in the clear, but he's not implicating him either. What questions do you have, please, about the boyfriend? Because I understand when he's talking about his past, it's a past with an assaultive history. He's got a record that includes assaultive behavior. So, of course, that raises some eyebrows, doesn't it?
It does certainly raise some eyebrows, but I remember I was talking to an investigator once. He said basically the only way you can clear someone is by convicting someone else. And as far as we know, despite
You go from your house,
history,
Michelle?
there's
Okay.
no specific reason to suspect he may have been involved in
Is he okay,
awful
Patty?
murder.
He
As
fell?
you mentioned, he's been clean and sober for 15 months.
Did he fall on the
and
toilet or fall on the
participating
floor?
in a drug court. And those are programs that really keep a close eye on people. So you have a lot of eyes on him, making sure he stays on the straight and narrow.
Mm-hmm. Right. If he is participating in that program, then he would be under the jurisdiction of the court. You know, meaning that if there is a violation of probation, the judge could violate him, potentially send him back to prison, resentence him on the case. So that's a really good point, Kevin. Thank you for that. He's being watched closely. And they're not coming out and saying that he is under a cloud of suspicion. They're just kind of being vague.
Brush these off. I am going to buff, use the ergo file, and then we can finish up.
But he is the one who did report Rachel Morin
That thing's all in the wrong order here.
Initially concerned. It was that night when she didn't come home from her exercising on the trail. What do you think about this guy? What would you want to know about him, please?
Well, one of the first things that investigators would do would go right to their computers and start running this.
I like these buffers. I feel like I can get a lot of buffing done in a shorter period of time.
The other types of instances that he might have had with law enforcement. But you know what? When you look at an assault charge, he had almost like I think it was like a weapons charge kind of thing. It could all stem from one incident, right? He could have gotten to a bar fight and hit somebody with a beer bottle or something like that. So unless we know a little bit more about that, one doesn't say, all right, we go from a fight with this and then we jump to murder. So we have to be really careful, and this is something I wish the true crime community would also take
a little
heed on,
bumpiness right
you
there.
can't put this kind of pressure on people, and without actual information, you can't speculate, you can't accuse people, and it's just something that can end up hurting the investigation in regards to the police are now answering out to the true crime community and some of these things. I mean, even the chief has said, well, the question we get all the time is, have we spoken to the boyfriend? That's investigative 101. I tell you, if they didn't speak to the boyfriend, I think they should all turn in their badges and leave. Right? I mean, that's just something that, it's a guarantee that happens.
Another bump right here.
There are ways that police now have tools that can tell you where you are, right? So that cell phone in your pocket or that smartwatch on your wrist, wherever it's tracking you wherever you go. So they might have had some information to tell the police that he was at a specific location or he has an alibi for that. But just because the police say you are not a suspect, or they even say he's been cleared or that person's been cleared, it means absolutely nothing.
I appreciate it, Joe. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to hit a break, but all of our guests are going to stay with us on the program. We have lots more questions for them coming up. And when we come back, we're going to tackle the question, who was
I just want to make sure my free edges are nice and smooth.
After the break.
If they're not, a buffer works really well. It just
He said that we'd seen his face, and there was no way that he could ever let us go.
smoothing those out.
I survived because I'm a born fighter.
Alright, this is what they're looking like right now. I'm going to use the ergo file.
Trying to kill Mr. Gibson.
Now, a father and son stand trial for attempted murder.
Father and son stand trial. Attempted murder. The FedEx murder trial, I think it's
Thanks for being with us here on Closing Arguments. We are still waiting to hear more about Rachel Morin's life. Here's what we know so far, though. We know that she was a mother to 5 children.
Yeah, that jogger, 5 kids she had.
And we're now learning that she was also a business owner.
How
The
awful.
New York Post is reporting that Rachel Morin had her own cleaning company. The Post speaking to one of Morin's clients about what she was like. The client telling them, quote, she was very warm and above all, she loved her children. She raised them very well. She had a flexible work schedule that allowed her to make sure her kids were always taken care of. We were like grandparents to the kids, and we trusted her implicitly, end quote. The New York Post also reporting tonight that Rachel Morin kept a daily spray tan appointment and frequented multiple dating sites as well. before her gruesome death.
She kept a
So
daily
tragic, leaving
spray
those
tan
5
appointment.
children behind. Now they are without a mother. Their lives changed forever, and hopefully soon this
So
mystery
sad.
will be solved. I want to bring back in my guests still with me. Detective, retired NYPD sergeant, and the author of 2 books on homicide.
Okay, before I
Joseph
clean them up, I'm going to
Jackalone
go
is with
through
us,
with
and
a
the
100
co-host
grit
of the Murder
file
Sheet
and just make
podcast,
sure
Anya
if
Kane,
there's
and
any
Kevin
acrylic
Greenlee with us tonight as well.
on my
Anya
skin. I
and
just want
Kevin,
it off.
you
Or dry
two
skin or
know
anything
the
like that.
Delphi case so well. You've come on Court TV Network many times, shared so much knowledge and great insight about it. And earlier today, when I was talking to my colleagues about this, we were preparing for the show tonight, I said, I keep thinking about the
These
Delphi
look
case.
good.
I know these facts are very different, but there's just something about this that's making me think Delphi. And I wanted to ask
All
you,
right.
and Anya, I see you nodding, so let me go to you
Clean
first,
these
please.
babies up.
Did you get any
He's okay?
feeling
All
that
right.
this
Hey,
story is somewhat
Janet.
similar to that, too?
Using
Great
the
question.
August
That's actually
Revelist
to our
club
interest
dips.
initially in this case. And to be very clear, these similarities are very likely just superficial, meaning that there's no underlying connection. It doesn't necessarily mean that the crime even took place in a similar way. But the fact that this took place in a rails to trail setting, where the Ma and Pa Trail is this popular place for people in the community to come jog, walk, and enjoy nature. The fact that it happened when this lady, Rachel Morin, is doing an activity that everyone should be able to do safely, going on an evening jog or walk. That just reminded us a bit of Delphi, where, of course, you have two teenage girls in broad daylight going on another rails to trail.
My accent nails aren't very good. They're not even. They're like,
And it just struck us as that is something that's terrifying to a community.
Maybe I should put striping tape down the center, down the line or something. Let me put some activator on, see what they look like.
Yeah, it really is. As she was saying, the Bel Air area is an area known to be very safe. It's just stunning to everyone that something like this would happen. Very much like the situation in Delphi. It is when
Some green
we're
up in my
talking about
cuticle
a
on that
daylight
now.
hike. And in the Delphi case, we have 2 people together. Joseph Jackalone, let me go to you on this one. When we think of safety and what we should do, you always go in pairs, go with someone else. Well, in that case, we have 2 people killed, albeit children, but still 2 people killed. Here, 1 person killed. What should we take away in terms of what to know about safety? And if one does want to go for a hike outdoors, what kind of precautions could they take, please, Joe?
Well, my best advice is to be aware of your surroundings, and probably the most distracting thing that we have with us today is your cell phone, or playing your music, having your AirPods in, or your whatever type of device you're listening in on as you're running or walking. You really can't hear what's going on if somebody comes up from behind you and what have you. So that's just something. And yes, going with pairs is always, or even a larger group is always safer. Nothing's foolproof, unfortunately. And we've seen a number of these incidents across the country where women have been attacked.
Let me see if I have a dark teal
So,
green. I don't,
like we
of
had
course. I have
Toronto,
green,
New
but
York City, and Queens. You had Miss Fletcher.
let's see if this is
going
gonna look hideous.
Eliza Fletcher. So you had some other, terrible instances on these.
I just don't really like how it looks.
People go there to, to enjoy themselves and kind of relax, and they kind of let their guard down, I think, sometimes. And unfortunately, we can't afford to do that in this day and age, that you just can't go and enjoy yourself, and it's a shame.
Really appreciate what you said, about having the headphones in, the AirPods in, whatever you use. It is very hard to hear when you do have them in, and so you wonder if that's something we can eliminate as a possible distraction and to help us be a little more safe when we're out and about. Kevin Greenlee, let me go to you, please, on a point that's really disturbing. We know that there's a GoFundMe for those 5 children who are left behind without their mom. And it's Rachel Morin's sister who established it. And she said something to the effect that her sister didn't go willingly. indicating to us that she may have fought for her life. She very well may have put up a
I'm
tremendous
having
fight.
such a hard
Joseph
time
made the
getting
point
these
earlier
on
that somebody
evenly,
could be
you
badly
guys.
injured because she looks like she was in great shape. Are you hearing anything, in the folks that are talking in the true crime community about this, your listeners on the podcast, anything that might indicate that this was an attack, perhaps by, someone, a stranger, someone not known to her that might have caught her off guard?
Really, we don't know. It's just a matter
No, I'm not
of
gonna do it.
speculation. I think the fact of the matter
Whatever.
is,
I'm
even
just
the
gonna
police
top
at this
coat.
time
Not
aren't
even
aware
gonna
if
wipe
there
off
is a
because it's been a
stranger
couple
situation
minutes.
or if it was targeted. If it was a random situation, you'd want to look at naturally at have there been other incidents like this on the park? Have there been
I wish
attacks?
my
Have women
application
felt
process was
harassed?
better on
And if you
this,
want
you
to be trying to
guys.
figure
I'm
out
not
if this
happy
was
with
somehow
it.
targeted towards this woman,
But I'm
you
not
have
doing
to
it
be start
again
looking
either.
at her own life. Is there anybody in her life who has some sort of a grudge against her? Is there anybody who would know that she would be out alone at this time? And of course, everybody I've talked to about this case, over and above the circumstances of who's responsible, is just heartbreaking to think of all of the people affected by this and those 5 poor children who no longer have a mother.
Absolutely. Well said, Kevin. Kevin Greenlee, Anya Kane, the host of the Murder Sheet podcast. Great to have you on the show. And retired NYPD Sergeant Joseph Jackalone. Wonderful to have you and all of your insight as well. Thank you all for being on the program tonight. Hope to see you back here very soon.
And the thumb.
I have an employee that has not reported for work today, and how we
See? Not that great. Don't forget, hit that like button, guys.
Closer, what he saw.
If you guys hit it, even if I only have like 4 or 5 likes, it might show up in somebody else's feed who's looking for dip nails, So, the more likes I have. But I would say my transition from Instagram to YouTube has been a complete flop. My videos, I have a couple videos with over 100 views. I have some like 50, 60, but seriously, my views are like in the 10s, 20s, average. That's what, whereas before on Instagram, I would average like 100 views, So that's kind of sucky.
In this area, we have our share of garden variety crime. It just seems in East Tennessee, when people get mad enough to kill, they just do it in some really fascinating ways.
I wish my green was more green on the outside nails and less glitter, But whatever, it's alright.
Extremely unusual.
If there was more green, it wouldn't look like so much glitter on the mani. Oh, look, Brandis.
Returning any phone calls or text messages.
Are you twinning us?
Joel
See it?
was employed as an engineer. He worked
See?
in pipe fitting.
So he was a smart guy.
Pretty
But
cool.
also a little bit of a working class type. He liked fishing and hunting and outdoor things like that.
I have to go in here, I think, with an e-file because I have like some green, some of that teal dip like up in my cuticle there. Let me go in with a little thin file, see if I can get it.
Had a fabulously successful marriage. They were very much in love, and they had planned the next chapter of their life.
They were really looking forward to moving
This
to
is actually
a
working.
country place so that they can start really enjoying time together.
All right.
People don't miss their retirement parties. I felt it necessary to go out there myself.
When a couple of deputies went.
I'm sorry, I
to see
picked
if
an
there was
ugly
anything
design,
amiss,
ladies.
one of the things they noticed is that there were vehicles still there.
If you stuck your head and looked in the windows, there was groceries right there in the landing. Most people carry their groceries in, not leave them right there.
So that was alarming. I decided to go to the back porch, and I noticed that the glass door was extremely warm.
They could smell this overpowering kind of chemical, can't put your finger on it, smell.
One of the guys on the scene pushed the garage door open, and that's when a lot of heat came out of the garage door. I made entry first into the residence.
Going in, it was hot as can be.
Aw, thanks, Michelle. We were gonna do solid pinky and index, but then I'm like, since we're gonna have the green stripes, which I expected more green on my nails and less glitter on the two accent nails, so we decided to put it on the pinky too. But do it how you want to do it, Brenda, so it'll still be a Manny triplet, you know. If you think it'll look better the other way, do it how you want to do it, girl. Look, I did a second Cosmic Manny too with the Rock On collection. I love that collection so much.
People inside of a residence, the only time a dog stops barking is when somebody's telling it to. We did not know if there was another human being inside the residence.
Well, I appreciate you guys saying that. I guess I'm just not happy with how mine turned out.
There's a pile of clothing.
Especially my ring finger. I wanted more green on either side and a thinner strip of glitter, but my glitters just ended up so wide.
At the end of the hallway, I could see severed hands.
But 'tis what it is. I am not redoing it. I have 3 nannies due Saturday.
In a praying position. Now, what that meant or signified.
I try and do one of them tonight. I'll do one tomorrow on the live, which is the color palette challenge. I'm going to do that on the live tomorrow. I have a Cosmic BBB due Saturday. I might even do that Saturday morning. And I think I got a Nails Truly Nanny I gotta do for a release or something.
Nobody on that scene expected to walk into what they saw.
Oh, thank you, Brandis.
That are filled with some kind of water or chemical.
I completely froze.
You know what I was doing for a while? I was posting every day on Instagram, but not posting on Facebook. And then I would let a whole week go by and then go on Facebook and post 5 manis, 6 manis, you know what I mean, for like the whole week. I would just copy and paste my Instagram post, but then, you know, change the day to the appropriate day I'm posting on Facebook or whatever. But then I started catching up doing them every day and then didn't do it yesterday or today yet. So I'm going to try and do post both those manis on Facebook and go from there. We still have them caught up. All right, I have some amazing fall Dip With Me scents. I have one called Fall For Me, and that's the one I'm looking for.
Was confined to a room in the hallway. We decided to make sure we had enough
Ooh, Crisp Air is a good one too.
In that room, we would have enough people to deal
Oh, here's Fall For Me.
We went ahead and made entry and ended up being in a small room.
This is an amazing autumn scented cuticle oil from Dip With Me. You can save 15% at dipwith.me by using code TARA15. And this is more of a typical cuticle oil, not a dry oil like the Nails Truly, but more of a viscous, long-lasting moisturizing oil, where the dry oil absorbs really fast.
Nothing could have prepared the officers of the Knox County Sheriff's Department for the car.
Oh my God, this one is amazing.
But as shocked as they were,
Love it.
the worst was yet to come.
So this one's called Fall For Me. She has another one called Crisp Air. Those are my 2 favorite fall scents from her. She has a candy corn scented one, you guys. So those are probably her 3 best 12 cents, in my opinion. But she's got lots of other scents too, of course. Oh my god. That smells so freaking good.
Somebody could do this. I'm the one that actually
Oh, I still got that green up there, you guys. I gotta try and get it off. Hold on.
Legitimately will see that.
Look up in my
You go down an aisle at Kmart, Walmart, Target, I don't care where you're
middle
at. If you're looking
cubicle.
at
It's like
pots and
going so
pans, that's
slow.
immediately
I'm
where
like
you're
right
gonna
up in there.
This is the worst
Let me pull out a
case that I've ever worked in my entire career. And my specific role as a lead investigator was to determine who did this, where they are,
here,
and how to get them.
Try this.
To get them off the streets so that they could not do it again. We went through and started
trying to turn it on like
when
3.
you go past the guest bedroom, there was a guest bathroom in the hallway, and that hallway bathroom was a butcher room. There is a sign of a struggle inside the room where the severed hands were located. Those ended up being Mr. Guy's hands. And of course, in the corner
I got it.
of the room where the hands were located it was just saturated with blood. There was plastic all over the place. There were bandages where somebody had obviously injured themselves and had rendered their own first aid. There was a large knife that was very similar to a
$5 on Temu, Brandis.
Absolutely.
It's the Aura one, so like it changes colors and stuff. You know how it's like $12, $11 on Amazon. $5.
Commercial grade. There's hammers. There's hoses. There's some guns. There's timers. Gas cans with gas.
Oh, that's a lot. Michelle, 8 more.
There was a bag from Walmart, which is just.
Oh, my cry will ship, but I don't know when it will be here. I got the notification it shipped yesterday.
I took a photograph of the receipt, got that data off of it. I also took a photograph of the receipt.
Brandis, we need Luxie to come out with some new stuff.
I looked at my partner and I said, I'll be back. I went straight to the Walmart and knocked on their security door, hoping somebody was there running the cameras, and thankfully there was.
They were able to look at surveillance footage that Walmart had. So what they were able to determine is that Lisa Guy had gone and bought those groceries, but also that's when they get the first glimpse of who their suspect likely is.
At the time, we see a young, balding guy that has bandages on his hand, and we don't really know who he is at the time. He was inside the Walmart making the purchase of the items that we recovered.
I don't have a dark teal. I don't really have anything in these colors. I have glitters all over me though.
Wiping down and cleaning up a crime scene. I reached out to Michelle Dennis to identify her parents, Elisa and Joel Guy. She gave us a time frame of the last time she saw them and where her and her children and her boyfriend at the time had actually come to the Guy residence on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, I have this green one.
With the family. Her brother was there.
Oh, this might even work, the green and the blue. This one has like no stretch to it. These are the ones I think you sent me, Tara. Did you notice there's like no stretch to these? I think this might work.
Everybody got along and everybody went their own ways, and it was
just with the green and the blue and the gold. I think I've never used this sleeve, but I think it'll work. Let's use it.
To stay on for at least a day or two before going back to Louisiana. What was unusual about this particular Thanksgiving was that Joel
and then I guess we should do gold jewelry.
Jr., since he was young, felt estranged from his family, insisted that they put him in a boarding school. Joel Guy Jr. was...
Are you talking about this one?
Nerd. He made a career out of going to school, studying.
Is this the one you were talking about, Tara?
Still attending Louisiana State University and working on
I'm going to use it.
A degree from that institution. Mom and Dad supported every bit of his lifestyle. They paid for college, they paid for the apartment, they paid for everyday groceries or anything extra that he needed. The entirety of his mother's check essentially went into his checking account. So the sole purpose that Lisa Guy worked was to fund Joe Guy Jr.'s living expenses and lifestyle. Joe and Lisa We're gonna retire.
I could have swore those were white crystals, but now they're yellow. I'm gonna use that one.
At some point before Thanksgiving, likely in a conversation with his mother, that his mother and his father planned to cut him off financially. His sisters were at the residence for Thanksgiving, and based on our conversations with the sisters, we were then able to identify Joe Guy Jr. as a potential suspect. It was
Here's another one I got.
Learned that was him at the Walmart picture.
Oh, this is a flower one.
You have to let that sink in, that it's their own child.
We have to follow every lead. In this
I'm
case,
gonna use this one.
Lead pointed to Joel Guy Jr.
I also think I'm gonna put some more oil on because
And in the backpack was a notebook.
I need more.
This detailed, what I call a murder book. As you can see, it just breaks my heart.
My nails are like already
On the next episode of
absorbed all the oil.
Told me that we were going to rob the bank.
Nestor reaches down towards his left hip, pulls out a weapon, and starts firing.
They've now taken a hostage.
Okay, there we go.
In real and pending fear. If I don't get in there, he's gonna hurt me. I'm gonna die.
Is that a look of fear to you? Accomplice to Murder with Fanny Politan. All new episode next Sunday night, 8/7 Central. Only on Court TV.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, this is like kind of tight. I'm not even gonna need to use a clip or anything for it. If I can get this ring to stay. Here is the finished mani with the August Revelist Club dips. I'm a little disappointed, not gonna lie. I wanted thinner for their ombre stripes, but that's the way it goes. Oh, okay, Patty, keep me posted. Keep me posted. Michelle, I have a teal one from Looney Loo. Look, this one right here.
That he had charted out
I needed a teal one for the longest time too. But she has that one. I don't know the name of it, but it's something. So look into that one maybe. Thank you so much, ladies, all of you, for being here today to join me while I struggle through this. Tomorrow we'll be doing the color palette challenge, so we'll be looking forward to that. Have a good afternoon. Of course, Dominic's still sleeping. I'm gonna go check the mail, take my pictures, and I'll send them to the group so you guys can see. And Tara, send your pictures. Brandis, send yours when you get it done. Oh, there's not? Send her a DM and ask her if she's planning on replacing them or restocking them, you know.
It wasn't just.
She'll do a custom for you too, Michelle. And you know Tara would.
And what he's determined is that in order for him.
All right, ladies, I love you all. Thanks for being here with me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
And then mom.
I forget how to exit out. Where's the X? Oh, there it is. Okay, bye.
At the same time. So he had done the math on how much